right, Vi. Just another customer.
Oh, who's it? It's old Georgie, isn't it? What's up with her?
Just run down.
She's got the shakes. Hey, sister, I don't want her throwing up and messing in here.
You go to sleep. She's no trouble.
Better not be.
There. Now, Georgie, you lie quiet. There's a wee lamp. What is it, Hen?
It's good. It's good to be home. Mrs. Weeks? Hello, Chief.
But I had a card from you only a few days ago.
I couldn't help it, Mum. I tried to stay away, but I couldn't help it.
All right. We'll talk later.
Wait till the bell rings.
I won't keep you a moment.
Oh, beg your pardon, madam.
Good morning, Governor.
Morning, Doctor. Everything all right?
Well, I had a slight hangover when I got up, and I felt decidedly queasy driving over here. But apart from that...
I'm sure you'll survive. What about your patients?
Oh, well, they've got to take their chances.
I've just seen Mrs. Weeks outside.
Ah, is she back?
Came in late last night. In pretty bad state, poor thing. Still, she's much better this morning. Not so dazed. You know what she's like, madam.
Never thought I'd see her here again.
Until this time.
You seem to have a lot of patients this morning.
Fewer than usual, actually, madam.
Yes, just the regulars.
Regulars.
The imaginary or the exaggerated illnesses. The ones who would do anything for a bit of sympathy, or also do anything to avoid a day's work.
Skivers.
You know, sometimes I imagine that just once I won't spend my entire morning listening to the same old made-up stories about sore feet, backache, migraine. You see, you can't prove that somebody hasn't got a headache or a sore back. All you can do is try and judge whether they need proper treatment or just a harmless tonic.
Sometimes I think the prison's one big hospital.
Isn't it?
Not entirely, Doctor.
Guess who's back?
Oh, we've already seen her, Mr. Radley.
In a bad way, they tell me.
Yes, Sister's going to bring me the report as soon as doctor's examined her.
That was almost bound to happen for you.
Locking up women like Mrs. Weeks isn't the answer. They ought to have special treatment. We're not equipped to look after them here.
Well, she's got quite a stiff sentence. Apparently she went into the glass and china section of a large department store and ran amok. Did hundreds of pounds worth of damage.
Well, I'm damned. Oh, well, I'll talk to her later.
She's never learned, has she?
Mrs. Weeks?
Oh, Mrs. Boswell.
What do you mean?
That you try to help people, but you mustn't expect them not to let you down. You can't depend on anybody.
Come in.
The medical report on Mrs. Weeks, madam.
Oh, yes, thank you. She outside? Suffering from malnutrition and the effects of a prolonged period of drinking.
Dr. Mays has no objection to her being put on one of the wings.
Oh, it's very disappointing. She was the first person that I really thought I'd helped in here.
Yes, I know, madam. You get so you're afraid to care about them. Still, there's no sign of violence now.
Violence?
I talked to them when they brought her in last night. She's been very difficult on remand. Very difficult indeed.
I see. All right, bring her in.
Mrs. Weeks.
Weeks. Georgina. I'm sorry, Mum, I don't remember my new number.
No, that's all right, Mrs. Weeks. Sit down. I don't know what to say to you. You left here nearly a year ago. You had a nice little flat in Birmingham.
Yes, Mum.
And you were looking after your invalid sister. Now, who's going to take care of her now?
She's dead, Mum. Poor old Jess. She just went to sleep and never woke up again. So I just had a little drop to steady myself like. Outrageous! It's a bloody outrage!
Now, come on, Vi.
Ain't I got no bloody rights, you and that po-faced bitch? Don't you come near me, you stupid pog!
Now, you listen to me, Vi. I'm not telling you again. Either you get dressed and go with the nurse, or you are in trouble.
What are you going to do? Put me in jail? Bloody ponce. Bloody quack. Quack, quack, quack.
If you'll excuse me, madam.
You were happy when you were looking after her.
Oh, yes. The happiest months of my life. She couldn't get about much on account of her stroke. But just to feel I was needed again, it was wonderful.
Yes.
We had a lot of laughs, too. And I never touched a drop. Not a drop the whole time I was with her.
And then she died.
Yes. There was only me and the minister at her funeral. And a young doctor from the hospital, he'd come too. When I got back home, somebody had broken in. Kids, the police said. Just kids. You never saw such a mess. They'd smashed everything up, poured tea and coffee in the carpet and the beds. You wouldn't believe it. Dirty. I couldn't even begin to clear it up.
Horrible.
So I just had a little nip to steady myself like. A glass of gin, and then another, and then it was too late to stop.
And then you got drunk and went into that shop and broke all those things.
Yes, I couldn't help myself.
Oh, I think you could, Mrs. Weeks. I think you knew exactly what you were doing. Why did you want to come back to prison?
I'd nowhere else to go. Outside, there's nothing for me anymore.
Don't you prefer your freedom?
I don't know what to do with it, Mum. In here, nobody expects anything of you. You know just what you're supposed to do. I couldn't face being on my own again.
You're an old fraud, Mrs. Weeks.
Yes,
Come along, girls. All aboard for the Skylark.
Doesn't change, does it? Nice. And that nice Miss Archer, bloody tart. She's nice. I like the South Wing. South Wing, North Wing. They're all the same. Call this a neck. I'm disgusted with it. She's always complaining.
Is something the matter, Vi?
I should cope, though.
Now
Here.
watch it.
Only decent place in here is the hospital. I had to swallow a whole bar of soap to get in here. I can see it all over. All that bloody doctor did was have my stomach pumped out and send me back here.
The lovely Vi's returned to haunt us.
Oh, cheers.
Come on, my hearties. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Violet Beswick and Georgina Weeks.
I hope you've learnt your lesson, Vi.
Don't know what you mean, I'm sure, miss.
Probably not. All you did was cause a lot of extra work for everyone. We've kept your room for you.
Come on, Vi, look lively. Hurry up, hurry up. That's it.
Hello, Miss Archer.
Well, well, well.
Oh, I am glad I pulled. I mean, I got your wing.
Why, thank you, Mrs. Weeks.
I was afraid I might get old spooky. I mean, Miss Parrish. Oh, not that her wing isn't nice too, and she's nice, and... Well, I mean, it's more comfortable here, like.
We aim to please. I can't give you anywhere on your own, so I've put you in with Judy.
Judy who?
Oh, Friar.
Judy Fryer. Do I know her?
No, I think she's new since your last visit.
Oh. Oh, it's nice.
Well, you know the drill. Just amuse yourself till dinner time, eh?
Here, Miss Berryman. This Judy. She's not too young, is she? I mean, I wouldn't be at my ease with someone too young.
Well, she's not a child. She's 24. Works in the kitchens. You'll meet her at dinner time.
Lizzie Bromborough. Lizzie! Georgie Weeks! Thought he was in style. When did you get out? What are you doing here? How did you get back? Couldn't believe it when I saw your name. I never thought I'd see you here again. They told me you'd gone straight. How you been? On the wagon again. I'd have come back sooner if I'd known you was here. How you been?
Georgie, sorry, dear, but my hearing's gone a bit dicky.
Oh. How you keeping?
I can't complain. Oh, come and sit down on my special coverlet.
Oh.
Reserved for only the best people. The governor and you.
Oh, Lizzie. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's all my own work. Everything in the place.
Oh, I'm sure lucky. Always having had a place of your own.
Oh, well, I insist. Got to have somewhere to keep your things. Oh, Georgie, just fancy. You meet all the best people in here. They always come back. Now, you sit still and I'll make a pot of tea.
Pot of tea?
I always have the makings. You stay where you are, and I'll get one of the screws to put the kettle on, and that'll last us through till dinner. Oh, Lizzie.
Hey, miss. Can Vi have some soap flakes on our marmalade pudding?
Get lost.
Oh, that looks good, Thelma.
Yeah, cordon bleu, madam. Chef's special. Stodge flambe.
Mrs. Spencer, get this mess cleared up.
Oh, yes, Chief, I thought...
I said get it cleared up.
Yes, Chief.
Janet, you got a minute?
Yes, Governor.
Mrs. Weeks, this is your cellmate, Judy Fryer.
Oh, pleased to meet you.
Hello. Bring your lunch over. We talk.
Yes, that'd be lovely.
How on earth did you manage that?
I can't hold it, miss.
Berryman, get this mess cleared up. And the rest of you, keep moving.
All right, go and get a bucket.
I'll help you.
Janet, have you noticed anything about Mrs. Armitage lately?
No, Governor.
Do you know if everything's all right at her home?
Well, I haven't heard anything in particular. Why, is something wrong?
She seems as if she's under a bit of a strain.
Oh, what's the matter? Did you burn yourself?
It's my hands.
Oh, that looks painful, that does. You ought to have it seen to.
Come on, we haven't got all day. Get moving, you
No, it's
two.
her hands, Chief. A bad rash.
No doubt.
Trouble, Mrs. Armitage?
Nothing to speak of, madam. Just another skiver.
Have you done?
Oh! Oh!
Yes, well, that's very nasty. Why didn't you come to see me before?
thought it would go away.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a rash like this before?
No.
And where do you work?
In the kitchens.
Washing up?
Yeah.
Yes, well, you have got a fairly delicate skin. I would say that the disinfectants and the detergents have done that to you. So, we'll give you some ointment. Sister will put a dressing on for you. Oh, and you'll be excused labour. Certainly no more kitchen work.
It's a hard day.
Oh, just long.
I'll get you a cup of coffee.
No, Ted, I'll get it.
Molly. Aunt Ellen was here today. She brought the little girl, Samantha.
Ridiculous name.
She's pretty. Bright for her age. I wish you could see her.
How can I if she comes when I'm out?
Well, look.
And I know it's not the first time. Aunt Ellen has been here once or twice recently, hasn't she?
How did you know?
By the way you've talked of her, I knew she must have been here.
Well, it's nearly 3 years.
And our daughter chooses to visit when she knows I won't be at home.
Oh, be fair, Molly. If she knew you'd welcome her...
She's still living with that man?
Yes.
Are they married yet?
No.
Then how can I welcome her or her child?
Our granddaughter.
Her child. It's nothing to do with me. She only had it to spite us.
Look, love, I have to say it. When we found out she was pregnant, we could have worked it out. If we'd been a little more understanding, she'd still be a part of us.
She doesn't want to be a part of us. She hates me. She told me so. She stood there at that door and told me that she was having the child and going to live with that layabout just to show me what she thought of it, everything I stood for.
Molly, she didn't mean it.
Then that's for her to prove, not me.
You're so reasonable with the women at Stone Park. Why can't you try to be the same with your own daughter?
I'll get the coffee.
And there was that dark-haired brass. Oh, what was her name? She used to stand up. Mavis Taplow.
Topham.
That's right, Taplow. She used to stand on the windowsill of the window in the old washhouse, showing herself off to the men of the working parties.
Oh, I remember.
And you know, they was digging a drain in K-Block. And there was a little Welsh fella. Oh, he was a corker. Just like a little garden gnome. But oh, man. Oh, I used to think I'd like to stand there and...
Go on, you never.
Too true. How else would you get a bit in this place? Oh, and that old chief screw, the Virgin Vera.
Oh, like a long stringy bean.
She was passing under the window one day with the padre. Of course, he'd pulled his hat down over his eyes so he shouldn't see Mavis and fell into the hole they dug for the drain. Oh, laugh. Oh, you don't get laughs like that nowadays. Not like the old days.
Nah, things have changed.
And those young screws, they don't know anything. You can't go to them with your troubles. It's like asking advice from your grandchildren. Not that I ever had any kids. Did you, Georgie?
No.
Too late now. Still, it's nice to have somebody. I'm a loner. Always was. Never even married. Miss Lizzie Bromborough, my name is, I used to tell them. Here, how's that young oppo you're sharing with?
Oh, very nice. Keeps herself to herself.
Oh, don't show then, her being a call girl and all that.
He gave her a special ointment. Said her skin was delicate.
Bloody poff.
No, I don't think so. I think he fancies her. Doesn't nice doctor fancy you, Poppy?
Just 'cause she's pretty.
do anything for a pretty face, Pomps. You've got to be a model girl round here to get any consideration.
You could do some modelling, Vi? Support tanks for elephants?
Well, I'm sorry if I seem to have been sounding off at you both, but after a day spent with our uncommunicative and retarded clients, it is a relief to talk to two people who are eminently sane.
Well, I haven't been much value to the conversation.
Oh, silent, sympathetic comprehension.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, pip, pip.
Cheers.
Cheers.
No, you see, even you, Charles, since you discovered the joys of fatherhood, you've only come to see me to talk about potty training and gripe water.
Oh, that's not fair.
Oh, yes, it is. No more friendly sessions in the pub. Oh, no. It's off home to Wifey and Radley Jr.
I worry about you, Peter. It's not like you to be so openly cynical.
Openly?
Wide open. You've been beefing for the last month.
Have I really? Well, perhaps it's because you two at least are practicing your professions, whereas I am not. I've become a dispenser of nostrums. I'm so bound up with routine that I've no time for research. I hand out the same old pills, I listen to the same old... Oh, pay no attention. I've been at the grindstone too long. I need a drink or two to relax now.
Seems to me that you're heading for a disease that we've all got to watch out for around here, and that's mental claustrophobia.
Institutionalization.
I can't even say it.
Come in.
Thank you.
Bill, darling, what a lovely surprise.
We're going out for a meal.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got held up with these reports.
So I see.
Well, thanks, Faye. We'll be off. Yeah.
Oh, don't let me chase you away.
Oh, you're not, Bill? No. Peter and I just decided to go round to the pub.
Had we?
Yes. You were going to tell me about potty training.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a nice meal.
Thanks. Good night.
I'm not really late, am I, darling?
Oh, I'm not complaining, Faye. Only making a gesture. I thought, well, at least when you've finished, we could go straight out to eat.
Yes, it'll be lovely, but I must just get through these. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
Help yourself to a drink.
It's fascinating to see you in your natural habitat.
Natural?
Well, most of your life's spent here now. Hasn't it become so?
I hope not. I don't want the prison to take up the whole of my life. I was just saying to Peter that we mustn't allow ourselves to become institutionalized.
Well, you've really overdone it this time, Vi.
Give me something to stop the pain.
What did she have?
Pethidine, 75 milligrams.
Yeah, well, it's probably not enough with her weight. They give her another 75 and keep on with it. 2 to 4 hourly.
Oh, God, I can't stand it all that.
How is she?
Not so good. I can't really tell until I see some x-rays. But I think she'll need an operation in the morning.
Well, how did it happen?
She says she fell from the top bunk of her cell.
Peter thinks she jumped.
I'm sure she did. But she miscalculated and landed on her knee, and it's made quite a mess. Well, she won't enjoy her stay in hospital this time. I'd say she'll end up with a permanently stiff leg.
You'll put it down as deliberately self-inflicted.
Possibly self-inflicted. We've got no way to prove it.
No.
Oh, I hate slopping out. Hello, Lizzie.
Hello, Lizzie. Hey, Georgie. Hear about Vi? They're going to have a leg off.
No.
All right, Gert and Daisy. Come on, let's get a move on, eh? Come along.
You all right, Lizzie?
This is heartburn. It's something terrible.
You ought to go and see the doctor about that. That's what he's there for.
She's right, you know.
I don't want to make no more trouble.
It's not trouble. It's his job to look after you.
But I don't want to go to the hospital and leave my things.
Oh, I wouldn't mind. Lovely there. They really look after you. Treat you like a princess.
Right, ladies, come along, will you? Hurry
You
up.
make an application, Lizzie.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Spencer will have to go on late duty again tonight.
She's had more than done her fair share lately. She won't like it.
None of us like it, Miss Harker, but as we're so understaffed, we just have to put ourselves out.
Pat Berryman's made an application for leave on Monday. Excuse me. North Wing. Yes, she's here. It's a message for you from your home.
Oh, thank you. Yes? Oh. Well, didn't he say what... I see. Very well. My husband rang. He said something serious had happened.
Well, perhaps you better get home.
If you'll excuse me, Miss Harker.
2 late arrivals, Doctor.
Oh.
Judy Fryer and Lizzie Bromborough.
Oh, all right. Well, you have a look at Judy's rash and send Lizzie in, will you?
Right. Lizzie?
Come in, Lizzie. Sit down. Now, what's the trouble?
Oh, it's this indigestion, Doctor. I didn't really want to trouble you. You've been so good to me over me arthritis and that trouble with me waterworks.
Oh, that's all right, Lizzie. It's
But
no
it's
trouble,
this wind,
Robert,
you
whenever
see, it
like.
gets me here and the pain goes right up to me shoulder and I can't do me sewing or me crochet and there's nowhere comfortable to sit. I have to lie down. Oh, it must be indigestion.
Yes. Well, indigestion can be very painful.
Of course, I eat hearty and regular, of course you do here, dear. But what with the wind and the rheumatics and the waterworks, it's a misery sometimes. Still, keep your picker up, eh?
There you are, Lizzie. You drink this up. Go on, drink it up.
Oh, that's quite tasty. Not like the other stuff you gave me.
I'm glad you approve. We'll have some made up and you take it after meals. You take it after meals, Lizzie.
I gobble me food, you see. Always have. Thank you, dear. Oh, it's just the wind, like the poor, always with us. Thank you, Doctor. Won't do no good, you know.
We got her a hearing aid, and she won't use it. And I don't suppose she'll take that medicine unless an officer persuades her to.
Doctor, I think you better see this rash.
But it ought to be clearing up.
I know, but it's getting worse.
All right, let me see. Oh, yes. Yes, that's not very good. Still, not to worry. We'll keep on with the ointment for a few days and put you on some antibiotics.
Ted, where are you? What's up? Are you all right?
Just fine, love. Ellen's here.
I thought you'd had an accident. I thought it was urgent.
It is, love. They're moving up north. It might be years before they get back.
I didn't realise he hadn't told you I was here. I said I'd see you if you came home now. I thought... Well, I thought if you took a couple of hours off work to come and see me, it might prove something. God knows, not much, but something.
I've never refused to see you.
No, as long as it was on your terms.
It was you that walked out.
Because you wouldn't... This won't get us anywhere. I'm pleased to see Dad looking so well. I've been worried about him, but he seems much better.
Yes, he's remarkable. He never complains.
Is he still going for treatment?
Just for checkups. They say there may be some power left in those leg muscles. They could grow stronger. It has happened.
Yes.
Oh, God, I was so worried. I thought he'd fallen down.
It wasn't my fault.
I didn't say it was. Well, what are you doing? You're still nursing?
No. No, I'm doing social work. With the St. Pancras community. You know, the homeless and addicts and so on.
Yes, I know it. Well, what's all this about going up north?
Well, there's a job going as assistant textile designer in a factory outside Carlisle. Lenny's applied for it.
When do you leave?
2 to 3 weeks, if he gets the job.
If?
What do you mean?
Well, he hasn't been exactly conspicuously successful with jobs, has he?
He's a brilliant artist. He's too good to throw himself away. He could take his pick of 100 jobs.
Then why doesn't he, instead of living off you?
Because I won't let him. I want... Oh, you wouldn't understand. What's it got to do with you, anyway?
I'm your mother.
That doesn't give you any rights. Don't judge me by your own mean-minded, reactionary...
Don't talk to me like that, my girl.
I am not your girl. What do you think I am? Some frightened prisoner locked up in your jail? What are you going to do? Hit me? Well, you'd enjoy that, wouldn't you?
Ellen, don't, please.
It's all right, Dad. I'm leaving. You're married to her, you have to take it. But I don't.
Please try.
It's no good, Dad. I should have known better than to expect anything. She never showed me any affection when I was here. Why should I expect any now? All I was to her was an unpaid skivvy. When I think how we lived, like another wing in your prison. Rules and regulations. Do this, do that. Never allowed out. All the other kids always laughing at me. Your mum's a screw.
I'm proud of it.
Oh, yes, I bet you are. What I've learned about prisons, it's you and others like you, rigid and callous, that makes the whole system rotten.
I'll not let you talk to your mother like that. You've no idea what she did for both of us.
You stick up for it if you like. I'm sorry, Dad, but I'm glad I can give my child some love. I'll make damn sure she's not brought up like I was.
Oh, Lizzie, tea's been up a while, you know.
Oh, Lizzie, you want to watch that, will you? Oh, Georgie, nice of you to say that, mate.
Give over, saucy mum.
Don't you fancy any, then?
Oh, I can't. This is pain. I'd best have some of my mixture.
Oh, all right, I'll go and get the bottle, eh? You stop here. Hey, do you want me to save you anything?
No, thanks. I'll be all right till supper time. Mustn't miss 2 meals, otherwise they'll put me on sick report, eh?
That's right.
Oh, look at that. It's like the bloody Rock of Gibraltar.
Just the thing. Well, here's in your chest.
Here.
Oh, thanks very much.
What a lovely. Come on, we'll go get a table. And I can help you cut your... Look, you sit down by Thelma. That's right. There we are. Here, give it to me. There we are.
Oh, good Lord. Wish I had a lady's maid. Of course, you used to have one, didn't you, Poppet? I suppose she answered the door to all your gentlemen callers.
Where's Lizzie?
Got heartburn.
Oh, I think I'll just go and see if I can get her anything. Lizzie? Lizzie? Lizzie! Lizzie!
Right, Georgie.
Oh,
There, then,
oh
come along.
Lizzie!
Okay, come on. Come in. Nothing you can do.
I was too late.
Heart attack.
Yes. She must have had a heart condition. So she could have had dozens of small attacks. She'd been covering them up.
Probably didn't realize what it was.
She told me she thought it was indigestion. And I accepted her own diagnosis.
I know I must have seemed hard on her when she was a child. I wasn't really, but it must have seemed like it.
Molly, she didn't mean the things she said.
Oh, yes, she meant them all right. That's how she thinks of me, and there's nothing I can do to change it. Nothing. Oh, it's my own fault. She'd never have turned out like that if I'd been different with her.
I won't have you blaming yourself, Molly. After the accident, when I couldn't work anymore, you did everything for the best. You took that job at the prison, you had to work damned hard, and look after me, and the child at the same time. I don't know how you stood it.
But I couldn't have done it if I hadn't have organised everything.
I know that, love. Then when Ellen got older, you expected her to help you.
I thought she'd want to.
Because you expected her to be like you. Unfortunately, she took after me more.
I just did what I thought was best. Oh, perhaps I should have trusted her more. She had no life of her own until she started nursing. Then the first man she met. I've asked myself over and over again what I could have done differently. I've wished that I had. Well, it's too late now. We've nothing in common. I can't change.
I wouldn't want you to. She had no call to say those things about you, about your work. She's heard still from the people she helps. I told her she's a fool if she believes it.
You don't have to explain me to anyone. Rigid and callous, that's how they see me, and that's how she wants to. She's on one side of a fence, and I'm on the other. There's no way through for either of us. It's finished.
The worst of it is, I know she needs you. You still love each other, but you just don't know how to show it.
Lizzie made her for me.
Very clever with her hands, Lizzie was. She used to say that's what got her in here so often.
She was going to sew a new dress for her.
Would have been lovely. That bedspread took her 2 years to make. The only one she let sit on it was me and the governor.
Oh!
Is it?
Oh!
Ooh. It's what did the doctor say?
Just said I'd have to use more ointment. You promised he'd look after me.
He will. He'll have to.
He never even looked at her. All he did was give her a glass of medicine and send her back. The same could happen to him. A lot of us could die for all the medical attention we get in here.
That rash spreading right up her arm, all red and pencil.
Oh, well, that's
Come to see how the other half lives?
Only to collect the customer. I'm not staying, I'm afraid.
Come in.
It's only me, Miss Harker.
What can I do for you, sister?
Transfer to the hospital wing of one Judy Fryer. Dr. Mays wants her in for observation.
Obviously takes a death to stir things up around here.
Well, if it ain't the little princess. Ooh, that's right. Tuck her up. Make her comfy.
Now you lie still, Vi.
What is it? What's up with the kid? What's she got? Ooh, is that rash, isn't it? I don't want nobody infectious near me. I'm not well enough.
Oh, you'll only bring the pain on, Vi. Try not to move.
I'm glad you were able to come with me, Mrs. Armitage.
I was very fond of old Lizzie, madam. I think a lot more would have come if they could have pulled it off. Oh, she was an old rogue, but you couldn't help liking her. I've often wondered if half those stories of hers were true.
I checked up on a couple of them once just for fun. They were substantially true, but embroidered a little.
She must have been quite a girl 40 years ago.
Yes. Come in. Oh, thank you. Put it down, will you? Have a cup of coffee, Mrs. Armitage.
Oh, thank you, madam.
You of course went there the afternoon she died, were you?
No, I had to leave. I hope it wasn't inconvenient.
Oh, no. I was just afraid that something might have happened to your husband.
It was a false alarm. Nothing important.
Good. Come in.
Oh, how was the funeral?
Oh, very simple, touching. Still, it's never quite so sad with someone as old as Lizzie, is it?
Oh, you can accept it more easily. It's natural.
Coffee?
No, thank
No, not for me.
you. Yes, that was the verdict at the inquest. Death from natural causes. Unavoidable.
Unavoidable?
The inquest was only a formality, Peter. Nobody is doubting your ability.
So they took great care to point out.
I hope that the verdict will calm things down a bit. I've been getting the inevitable anonymous letters saying that the prison medical service is inefficient and inadequate. Now, if these rumours aren't stopped, and if we behave in any way which may give credit to them, it'll do us a great deal of harm.
I see those.
Oh, they're all pretty much the same. They start off with Lizzie Bromborough's death, of course, and then go on with a catalogue of complaints and abuse, including the girl, Judy Fryer, whom they say is suffering from an untreated infectious disease.
I had swabs taken and analysed. She's not infectious.
But she's been transferred to hospital.
Oh, she'll love that.
What?
She enjoys being made a fuss of. Half the women on the wing mother her. She had old Mrs. Weeks acting like a chambermaid.
She's like a child. Some people respond to her with kindness.
Would you mind explaining that, Doctor?
I don't have to explain anything. My opinion is that she should be in the hospital for observation, and I am the one person fit to judge.
Hey, hang about. Round's over.
I quite agree. I won't have anyone flying off the handle. As it happens, Mrs. Armitage, I agree with Dr. Mays. I don't think we should take any risks.
Hello, darling.
I've brought Peter Mays with me. He's in a very bad way. I don't want him to do anything silly.
Hello there.
Hello, Bill. I'm sorry to inflict myself on you.
Oh, come on now, Peter. You know you're always welcome. Now that you're here, why don't you stay for a meal?
Oh, you promised me a quick drink. Now, that's the understanding I came on.
All right, but why the hurry?
Well, I've got some thinking to do. Thanks.
Oh, what about?
Whether or not to give up my job.
Well, that does require some thought.
Well, maybe I've been at it too long. It used to be a challenge, and now it's just become a kind of endless struggle. So, perhaps in fairness to everyone, I ought to move on. Anyway, I'm going to find a quiet pub and think about it while I get blind drunk.
Well, that's not going to help you think, is it?
No, but it's not bad anaesthetic.
It's not good to drink on your own. Why don't you stay here? We'll get quietly plastered together. What I don't understand is you're a doctor. You must have seen death many times. Why has this one hit you so hard?
Because I didn't examine her properly.
The coroner said it was a long-standing condition, and she'd been concealing it. Now, if you had discovered it, how much longer could she have lived?
Oh, perhaps a couple of months, perhaps not. But don't you see? I should have seen that something was wrong. Lots of diseases have got disguised symptoms. Some time ago, I would have followed it up.
About 10 years ago, I had to examine a radio mast in Norway. Huge thing, old for a mast. I had a few girders changed, strengthened the base supports. 2 days later, it fell to pieces in a storm. Metal fatigue.
But this was a death.
So was that. And I couldn't have prevented it any more than you could have prevented that old woman's.
But the point is that I have stopped looking. I've grown careless.
You've grown tired, Peter. You run your own surgery, you take psychotherapy group, you head the drug unit, you hold minor clinics which you should leave to your nurses. You must learn to delegate. If you gave up now, it would be the most terrible waste.
You know, Faye and I were laughing the other day about you all becoming institutionalized, but I think that's something you have to go through. And it's only when you've fully accepted the possibilities and limitations of the job that you really know and understand it.
Yes. Yes, well, you're both right. For myself, I prescribe a holiday and a bloody good kick in the pants. Could I have another drink?
Yeah, sure.
So I am tired. I could sleep for a week.
Just what you need.
Then I could take on Mrs. Armitage.
Oh, I thought the two of them were going to have a stand-up fight.
No, I don't understand her attitude to that girl.
No, neither do I. It occurred to me it might have something to do with her own daughter. I'd hate to think that she was merely prejudiced.
Oh, what girl's this?
Oh, someone Peter has in hospital.
She's got an allergic rash that won't clear up. She's vulnerable and she's trusting.
Yes, and yet Mrs. Armitage thinks that she's an arch manipulator.
Well, that's impossible with her mentality.
You know, she doesn't even realize that she's in prison. And when she does, she sort of draws inside of herself like a child.
Dear me. Oh, dearie me. Does it hurt, Hen?
What is it? It's worse, isn't it?
Does it hurt anywhere else?
Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Doctor, could you spare a moment?
Yes, miss.
There's been a new eruption on the legs. It seems to be spreading very quickly.
Oh, yes, it certainly is.
I told you it was catching. Any bloody fool could see that.
Is there any fever?
No, her temperature's only slightly up. I thought she'd be on the mend.
Oh, she ought not to be here. It's criminal. She ought to be put somewhere by herself.
Yes, well, for once, Vi, I'm inclined to agree with you. Have her moved to an isolation ward, sister.
About bloody time. We'll all get it.
Whatever it is, they've moved her into one of those little wards all on her own. And no one's been allowed near her except the sister. Isn't that right?
Infectious, I said. They was very worried.
For 2 days, they've had her wrapped up like one of those Egyptian mummies. They won't even let her feed herself.
Poor little baby.
Of course, they're worried. We could all get it. They left it too late.
Yes, like Lizzie.
Yeah, they let her die.
Still the same old story. They let Lizzie die. Nobody's safe.
They're working themselves up. You have to stop it.
Well, perhaps if I should speak to them, Miss Harker.
Well, somebody's got to.
That hospital's a disgrace.
You ladies. No, just a minute. I won't keep you a moment. Now then, I know that you're all very upset by the death of Lizzie Bronson.
Too right we were.
And I thought you'd like to know that I was at the funeral with the governor and others. That was just a very simple affair. But you know, it upset me to see so few floral tributes. And I thought, since you were all so fond of her, perhaps you'd like to contribute something. Just a few p each. Well, just a few p to buy her some flowers.
Why should we?
Well, since you're all so upset about her. Ah, she was a great character, was Lizzie. But a very old woman. And with her heart condition, we were lucky to have her with us so long.
What heart condition? Bit sudden, wasn't it?
Well, that's how it is with heart conditions. Very sharp and sudden. The coroner said that she'd been living on borrowed time for years. Now then, Mrs. Weeks, would you like to take down the names of those who wish to contribute?
Oh, yes, that's And what about Judy?
That has nothing to do with this. And I should take it very unkindly. Very unkindly indeed if Lizzie's passing was not respected in a suitably solemn and quiet manner.
That's much better. Clearing up nicely.
She did it all herself?
Not at first, no, otherwise I wouldn't have been taken in. No, the path lab confirmed that the first rash was genuine. Then, when she found out how much attention she was getting, she decided to help it along, scratching at the palms of her hands, biting and sucking at the arms, to break the blood vessels under the skin.
But it must have been agony.
I doubt if she even noticed it. She is very seriously disturbed. She'll have to go to a psychiatric hospital.
When did you realize what was happening?
Well, I can't claim any credit. It was a combination of you and Mrs. Armitage. I began to realize that I was treating the symptoms and not the patient. Whenever the arms were immobilized, the rash stopped spreading.
Poor girl.
Poor girl.
Oh, she never really grew up.
She was like a baby sometimes.
I'd be grateful, Mrs. Weeks, if you didn't spread this around too much.
Oh, no, of course not.
Now, there is something else I want to say. As you know, Lizzie was alone in the world.
Oh, no, there's her sister. She was always talking about her.
Yes, she was talking about her, but she's been dead for many years. Well, as there is no one else, I'd like you to have her things.
Oh, no, I couldn't. It wouldn't be right.
Well, if you don't have them, you'll only be thrown out.
I couldn't.
You were Lizzie's oldest and best friend. I know she'd like you to take care of them.